nobody's Zoom anymore. So I need to get started at first.
Yes, we'll go ahead and start.
We're gonna go ahead and get started.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get started, guys. Let's just talk about this stuff real
Okay, we're
quick.
gonna skip over the minutes and save those till next
Put them
time.
on the May agenda.
All right, no guests. No committees. Okay, splash pad update.
The bathroom partitions have been installed. I was thinking that maybe I wanted air dryers for the bathrooms. That way I didn't have all the paper debris out, but when I pulled it up on Google today, it said that it was the bacteria bombs. It was the worst thing that you can use as an air dryer. And I thought, that's bizarre. I thought it would probably be better
Everything in the airport's a
air dryer.
Yeah.
But according
It's
to Google,
infrared air drying.
Oh, okay.
which are really expensive,
Okay.
if you get the
Dyson stuff.
regular ones that are $400, according to them, they're bacteria bombs. So I'm leaning towards just the same stuff I have at the community center. The brown paper towel holders that I have and the dual roll paper towel or toilet paper holders, so that I'm only ordering one kind of paper towel and one kind of toilet paper.
No, and those may be a little bit more mom friendly, you know, if there's like an accident or a
Yeah,
dirty
so-
kid or,
There'll be paper towels available.
yeah.
Looking at getting a couple of changing tables for each bathroom. The partitions are all up. The original partition quote was $13,000. Brent and I found some online for $2,300. They came from Ohio or somewhere, and with some terrible instructions, but we got it together and it looks really good. So the bathrooms are together. We got the cameras installed today. Next week we need enough dry days to put the overlay on the splash pad. It's got a low area, and there's overlay material that you can put on it that takes care of that, but you need a few dry days. We haven't had a few dry days in a row. So the overlays still got to be done, and the paint's been purchased for the splash pad. But once again, I can't paint it till the overlay's been done. Vortex has come in on the 25th to do their startup procedure, and they won't come until taking pictures of the components installed. So we're installing the components next week, taking pictures of it and taking them back off so we can paint again. So Vortex will come out on the 25th. Hopefully we get the overlay done and the paint done before the 25th, and they get here. Fingers crossed, weather holds good.
And are we even wanting to talk about a date for ribbon cutting or waiting till later?
The reason why I don't want to hard commit right now is because, since we start hard committing, then I already got enough stress trying to beat the
Whether,
LPRF deadline, which I talked to George Brogdon the other day, and he says he's never seen one work. They always pass them without. So if I get the rest of my bathrooms and stuff complete, the state can come and do their LPRF inspection, and we can be done with that. So
We just can't do any more groundwork after an extension. We still have like 30, 45 days to do paperwork, but as far as,
as far as getting approved.
yes,
Okay.
May 29th would be cut off for any groundwork. You can't do
Well, like sod?
on the ground.
they don't care if I have sod or not.
Okay.
They don't care if the outside of the building's painted or not.
If it wasn't on the grant, they don't care. If it was in the grant, this is going to be done, then, we committed to this, done that stuff to be done.
Exactly.
Yes.
So as far as the splash pad, it's
Let's see.
Slowly but surely.
Saturday, 10 to 12. 10 to 12.
We'll go about 2
Yeah, that'd be fine.
slowly but surely, and we're like this close to having it all done. That's why I brought those sets of rules. I'm going to pick one of these sets, guys. Do you have any suggestions, recommendations, something that you'd like to see on the splash pad rules, or you think I ought not put on? I know you don't want infectious diseases on there, Missy, but I really think I need to say that
No,
somewhere on there.
I don't know. I just think, that's,
So if somebody goes in there and gets your kid sick with infectious diseases, who you
You
hold
don't-
liable?
but you don't, how do you know that? There's no way to prove that.
Because there was a guy in there with big open sores, and
There's still no way to prove all that. Like, there is no way, unless you rub it in their open wound and have 15 witnesses, there is no way. It's kind of like people always trying to figure out where they got COVID from. There is no way to figure that out.
but I need to get them picked pretty quick.
I
And
think you
get,
say basic
I think so too.
safety stuff.
Yes.
well, they even had some that had COVID rules on it, and I don't want to print any kind of COVID rules because I'm hoping COVID's not always going to be a part of my life.
It is going to be like the flu, I think, but it needs to be handled like the flu. I hope in the future or soon. I hope so.
But I hope to get with Dave next week and get him to start printing my signs. 'Cause I need one that says wave your hand in front of the activator to turn the pad on.
Yeah.
After the grand opening, I will make a thank you sign for all the people who participated. But prior to the opening, I need to have the splash pad rules posted. I think.
I mean, I just want us to, I guess, give our citizens some respect that they are smarter than, I don't
I haven't
know.
met any of those yet. I'll just say that.
You might ought to check with whoever does the city insurance just to see what might have to be on there.
Probably,
And the reason I'm saying that is I travel a lot and there's lots of signs like at hot tubs and pools and things and
That's who
yeah, who last night's Western Maine?
I don't, Carly,
Yeah,
something like
she's
that.
probably the person to check with.
I would check that just to make sure that you got everything covered, that your insurance policy requires you to have on there.
I need to get those ducks in a row next week, though.
I think that she could tell you pretty quickly what she
Okay.
would recommend on there or not.
Because our policy may require certain things to be posted. I would check that first.
I definitely think it needs to say don't drink the water.
Yes.
Okay, I definitely need to say no diapers.
Yeah.
Because, that should be a given too.
But
We're
it-
using the same water over and over again. You don't need to change your diaper in my splash pad. But obviously that's a rule that needs to be on every one of them because every one of them looked at has had something about infectious diseases and diapers or diarrhea on every one of them. Just like, obviously it's been a problem for somebody else.
Okay.
But that's about all I got on splash pad. We're moving right along.
All right, Easter.
Easter's, Lim and I have worked tirelessly, huh? Late
I'm
evenings.
proud to say that we have 6 bicycles and 50 baskets
Of toys.
of toys, like real nice toys, not that
Junk in an
mess
Easter
in
basket.
a
We
Easter
bought
basket.
toys and made our own baskets.
Yes. So we have, we probably have close to $1,500 worth of toys that we got for a couple $100. So
And 6
nice toys.
bicycles, about 6,000 stuffed eggs, 100 stuffed animals, other miscellaneous toys and large size candies to throw out on the ground. I've gotten a lot of stuff this year, guys. The community was really generous, and Luema has a hookup. She knows the Easter Bunny personally, and he has done us well. But I will need some. This is the kind of I got 4 teenagers working with me. I need people to make sure that when the candies and stuff get out on the ground, we're making sure that people get registered and signed up and getting their faces painted inside the building. The fire department's going to help me distribute the stuff on the grass. But people who are already registered will be posted up around the area. I need to make sure they don't get Beanie Babies and candy before it's time. So I just need a couple of people standing around the trail just to make sure if you see something, no, it's not time yet.
Wayne and I will be there.
Yeah. So that's the kind of help I'm going to need. It's just, I've got kids painting faces. I've got a couple of kids handing out registration forms, and Luem and I are going to set up the prize table and make sure that the tickets get in the baskets. And I'm going to make announcements through the sound system that, make sure your kids get registered for the drawing because there are no golden eggs per se. There are golden eggs out there, but they've got nothing in it
But candy.
but candy. So we'll draw your name, you come to the table, and you can get your prize. Start with the bicycles. If you don't want a bicycle, you don't have to have the bicycle. You can have something else from the table. If you get a bicycle for your birthday,
Christmas in April is the way I look at it. It's Christmas.
it is
in
Christmas in April, guys. You just don't realize how much stuff we have this year, more so than years past. So any volunteers that can show up that day, it's from 10 to 12. I'd appreciate all the help I can get.
I'll be there.
I know you will.
What time is the actual,
It comes at 11:30.
okay, that hasn't like asked me and I didn't want to give them the wrong.
It comes at 11:30. If the reason why I'm starting at 10 is so you had time to get your kid registered.
And the Easter Bunny will be there, and if parents, we're not doing pictures with the bunny, but the bunny will be there if a parent wants to use their phone and take pictures of their kid
We're
with the
not getting
bunny.
pictures. Okay.
Not that I'm selling and orchestrating. Look, I have so much of a hard time distributing the
Yeah.
pictures after the dances. Okay, that's
Is there a specific place, or it's just like last year?
last year.
Okay. Okay.
We can actually set up a little chair in there for him to sit in, so that when somebody hands the baby, he can sit down with it.
It's just hard. I just know they're like used to the mall had an Easter bunny and now that we
Yeah.
don't have a mall anymore,
Yeah.
there's just not as many places for Easter Bunny.
I don't mind that them taking pictures like
Yeah.
that. I even set up a little area. We got the screen that the women gave us. I can hang that flowery backdrop on it that we
I mean,
use.
everybody has a cell phone. They can take their own picture.
Whatever. That's right.
Yeah, that's why I
And
said,
Alicia's going to be there to take pictures of the activities, but not for resale for months.
most moms will whip out that camera and take a picture, and that's
That's what they have.
perfectly fine. So I think we're ready for that.
Yeah, I've got these little flyers that I'm going to take to the school tomorrow, and that way they can carry them home.
You better get them over there early.
I'm going to get them over
Yeah.
early. First thing in the morning.
There's no school Friday. So.
No school Friday, that's right. So I'm getting them over first thing in the morning, and then we're going to weed eat and clean up the community center and get ready for this weekend's event.
Okay. My hero and me dance.
I don't want to talk about it too much, just don't want to keep it on your radar, guys. It's in May, and I've already got pretty much everything set up and ready to go, just like the other dances. I've got tablecloths and stuff available. We're going to keep it very inclusive, no age limits, no gender restrictions, just...
Are we encouraging them to dress up as heroes? Is that kind of? I mean, I just feel like we're going to get questions.
I am encouraging it.
Okay.
And
I mean, I think
we're
that's
going to
fine.
use a projector, and I'm going to show something on the projector that has heroes on it behind us, instead of it, like, I have all the disco lights and stuff
Yeah.
on too, but behind the DJ booth, I'm going to project a hero movie on the wall. No audio, but yeah.
My cousin did a birthday party for her stepdaughter, and it was in The Incredibles, and it was the most fun. She gave, so they dressed up, and all the other kids dressed up too, but the ones that didn't, she had like just these little cheap masks. So I don't know if we could find those,
I
just
bet I
some
could.
little cheap. So just in case, like somebody who didn't come to the party still
Yeah.
got to
We
be.
can
a-
get some little masks like that off Amazon, I'm sure.
I thought that was like
we do glow sticks for
Yes,
giveaway.
I thought that
mean,
was a good idea. Just think
that is a good
so-
idea. Thank you.
Yeah, I thought that was I think that's would be a fun thing.
Okay. All right, Juneteenth.
Emailed Miss Granberry the other day. I got zero response yet. Once again, the things that I know I can handle, regardless of how many participants I have, is the Wet and Wild Day stuff. I've got water balloons. I've got the water slide already reserved.
I just want to interject for a second. You have on here May 14th, and that is an inaccurate date, actually May 21st.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I thought that would be important.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Thank you.
And we need to make sure we get those flyers out soon also.
The
The
Hero and Me?
The hero
Okay.
one. Yeah, just because there's going to be a lot of different times, like pre-K only goes a certain amount of time, and then
Okay.
they get out. And
So
then-
the first week of May is good,
I
or is
think
that
so.
too soon?
I mean, I wouldn't think that would be too soon, just
Okay.
sometime in that time, because I know like just different groups
Okay.
of kids.
So we'll get them out the first week of May, and we'll.
Then they can, and also, I mean, since it is going to kind of be like get your costumes. I mean, maybe even put on that get your
You got
costumes
to get
ready.
your costume ready.
You know, so people can be fine, getting their costumes out. You know,
You might want to put a little indication on that you don't have to have a costume to come, but we encourage it.
yeah, yeah. I just think that would, but just that way we don't miss any group of kids. They do testing and all that. And I know like some groups come on this day, some groups come on that day, doing end of year testing, and then just don't want to miss any
We
group.
get those out the first week of May.
Okay.
And back to Juneteenth, guys, I know that we talked about live music, and without enough time to properly set it up, I'm not going to be able to pull that off. You know what I mean? There's going to have to find a location, stage. I have to have room for parking as it is,
Money.
money.
I honestly, this is just me. I know we are kind of going with a theme or like maybe a group of people, but if you really feel like you want to do music, I think there's plenty of local people that have their own kind of like stuff that you just say, you know, let them I mean, just put it out there and see if anybody reaches out and, you know, can from 12 to 2, you know, can play the guitar over here. It doesn't have to be like a full band. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be, I mean,
Let's say with food trucks, I don't care if food trucks come, you know, but I'm not going to be able to provide them electricity.
and I mean, I think if we say all that, I mean, I might be wrong. There might be not the first. There might not be the first person that wants to come. But then again, I just feel like there's enough music people in the area, and it doesn't have to be a band. It doesn't have to be a singer. It can literally be somebody that just plays the guitar.
Same way with recognized whoever we're going to recognize, if we want to honor somebody and recognize them, and I'd like to know, sooner than later who it's going to be. That way we can advertise it and get some of that information.
I think it needs to be more about that than it needs to be about the entertainment
I agree.
anyways.
And that could just be background music.
Yeah, that's why I guess I was thinking, just.
And I could play that on the sound system.
Yes, but I think offer it to
Locals.
just to see, and there might not be anybody. I mean, this day and time, so many people want to be paid to do everything, but there might be some people out there that want to,
And if you open it first and nobody volunteers, then they can't say, well, they didn't offer it.
Why did we not have any music? And
We opened it, nobody volunteered.
yeah, I just think that's.
But Jackie had said something about starting a board for this event, and
I think after the first one, see how it goes and
Yes.
work from there.
and Miss Diane, or my senior coordinator, Diane James, she said that she's going to reach out to Jackie because she also would like to do bigger and better things. She says, but they need to start doing fundraisers now for next year's June so that we actually have a budget in which to utilize, which is exactly what I was saying back in January. It's like, if we want to do something, we need to start thinking about it now. Well, she's already thinking about doing something for next year. Diane is, and she's thinking about starting it at this year's Juneteenth event. The money that they raise will go for next year's event. So she's wanting to maybe sell fish sandwiches out there. Thought it would be great if the money goes towards Juneteenth or the park or something like that. I'm not opposed. Someone said that if I let food trucks show up out there and sell that, I'll have to request that they do something in return for the park. I'm not charging you a fee to sell here,
But we get a percentage, or you.
but you should make a donation to Gardenia Park. And the money that you will pay us will go straight back into the park. If you give me $200, I'll buy $200 something worth for the park. So
Well, I know when we went to the Ridley Park to the softball game, there were I think there were 4 food trucks there, and 2 of them were Mount Pleasant people. I mean, I don't. They might have need electricity and that kind of stuff. I don't know. I'm not sure, but I mean, I thought there's at this big event, and I know they made some pretty good money
We
that
need to
day.
figure out if we need to change our ordinance at all for that to allow, if you're going to give us a percentage back or that kind of stuff.
Yeah, those are
You're about
questions.
next year, right?
Those are next year things. These are questions that, as I've been mentioned at this every meeting, things we need to think about. Well, I keep coming up with ideas as we go through it. But all I know I can do for certain guys is the Wet and Wild Day stuff.
And
I got that.
And maybe not offer food trucks, but maybe offer people to set up booths. I mean, if they make the hamburgers and hot dogs off site and then put them in coolers and still sell them, so there's still food there. Maybe not food truck where you got to have electricity, but you can do all kinds of food. You can sell snacks. You could do bake sale stuff, just so there's food there.
I'm giving away freeze pops. I can do it every Wet and Wild Day. I've got, I think, 500 freeze pops left from the freeze pops you gave me last year. I think 500 would be enough.
Okay.
Because they're not
But to
going
kind of make
I have
it
no way to keep them frozen there.
where people want to stay, here, listen to a little music, grab a little snack, walk around, wait. I just think there's ways to do it without the electricity and without having to do all of
I have
that.
to have temporary power pole. I've already talked to Mount Pleasant Power because I have to have temporary power pole where I'm going to put the water slide at. Put the water slide all the way to the far back corner so it don't wet down everything in our area where we'll be gathering. And there's no electricity out there. I got water out there, but no electricity. So Chance and Howard will put me a temporary power pole. But they said that they think it has to be closer to the bathroom. So now I can run it by a generator. I have a generator we can use, but Brent works with me now. Brent says that, really needs to have 2 sources. If you have a generator, you need to have a backup, which if your generator goes out and you get a bunch of kids on this tall water slide.
Generator's supposed to be your backup.
Yeah, generator's my backup.
Yeah.
So I might have to try to get enough drop cords to run a drop cord across the field. I'm once again, the same thing about music, and that's why I need to know who all's planning on trying to be there.
I just know there's been times at the barbecue festival where there was food trucks and stuff in the barbecue, but then there was little booths that sold little cupcakes. Like those kind of
Sweet
things.
treats,
Yeah.
the Bronner sweet treat guy, those people should be out there. You know what I mean?
I think
He doesn't need any electricity, and he'll sell a bunch of ice creams out there that day.
Yeah.
But anyway, I know it's right around the corner now. Juneteenth is, and
I mean, all we can do is put it out there. I think if you throw it out there on your Facebook page
Okay.
and on the city page, and if nobody reaches out, then that's on them. But I think you might have a few.
I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll start requesting it next week. See if I can get anybody to bite on it.
All right, vacant property.
I'm gonna give it on the screen, I guess.
This vacant property that's behind y'all.
And is it the touchscreen? So here is Arrowmine,
Okay.
Arrowmine Road. And this property here, 7.6 acres,
Oh, that's perfect.
is available for sale. It's owned by an attorney out of Florida who's never been to Mount Pleasant, doesn't know what he owns. And the real estate agent that's selling it has never been to Mount Pleasant and doesn't know what she owns or what she's trying to sell. But so you got Sugar, you have
That's a
Sugar
creek.
Creek going
Okay.
through it.
I can't hardly see.
It's all in a floodplain. All of it's in a floodplain. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have the power. You have the power
TVA.
line here. TVA. We
A railroad track,
Railroad track is
Railroad
outside
track
TVA.
here.
Mhm.
okay.
You had the Boy Scouts that did a
Nature trail.
Yeah, a small nature trail. You have a little bridge here that wouldn't be acceptable anymore. You'd have to redo that bridge, but it's contiguous to your park, so I think it's worth considering. I don't think you ever want to pay the money that they think it's worth. And like I said, they've never even been to Mount Pleasant, so they don't know what it's worth.
Well, they got smelter polluting and everything in the background right there too.
Yeah,
So.
that's, I don't know what else
Are we
it could be
recording this
used
part?
for. But this is very rough. I
We need
mean,
to
if we were gonna go in here and like do walking trails, which would be really cool, but you're talking about a lot of bulldozer work and you're talking about a lot of effort to get that done.
Do we know what the railroad track, do we know what their right of way is off the railroad track?
It's usually 30 feet.
Okay.
And it's not gonna conflict with power system stuff. The power system is actually, the power line is kind of cool because you can have part of your path going down there and it's never gonna get messed with and it's always gonna get mowed.
Yes. Let somebody help me take care of it.
Yeah. We'd have to get the permission, but I mean, there's a lot of communities that have trails on their power line.
So this property is not good for building anything on.
It's completely in a floodplain.
Could you build on it if you wanted to?
There are ways to engineer it, like this, initially this real estate agent said it could be, 7.6 acres, and so we could build a home on it.
I'll
To
go,
engineer it above
Floodplain.
floodplain, and like, you're trying to put a house that's more than $500,000. I don't see how anybody's going to be interested in that, but.
I was thinking like a shelter, like a nice, like
Yeah.
little, like
Yeah.
shelter. I
well,
mean,
I'm,
not a-
I'm just trying to get to what they're asking for it. I don't, without them looking at it, it's not like you have
It's
7
exactly
acres
what's
of
in the state records. That's
You-
what she's pulling that number out of the assessed value.
right, but I know, but you're looking at 7 acres, but you're looking at the railroad track, you're looking at the power line, you're looking at the creek. Unless
And
you
industry.
rerouted the creek, I don't know where you're gonna build on that.
Right. When I had Patty send the email out to you guys, I didn't mean to make you guys think at all that, the city was going to pursue this. What I wanted to do was have discussion. And then, if somebody's offering the city green space, I want to hear from you. Obviously, it's right next to a park. And then I want to hear from the city commission. And my personal opinion is it would be great if we had it, but not at that price. I mean, I asked if they would donate it. Apparently, it's an attorney that had a legal fee that couldn't get paid, and
Can you tell us who owns it?
it's in Tennessee Main Street. It's crazy. That's the name of the owner is Tennessee Main Street. But and I do have that somewhere, Luema, but he's out of Florida. It's not anybody local. I don't
That's
know.
okay.
Yeah. I got that in our records because we had to talk to them to get the trail for the
Boy Scouts.
suicide Boy Scout project. And just, I don't know if we say that we're interested, we're not interested at their price and let them try and sell it and come back to us.
Well, I'll tell you right now, nobody's gonna pay that and purchase it.
Right.
There's no way.
She thinks that she might be able to sell it to Smelter, but I don't even know what Smelter could use it for. I don't think they could use it for dirt. It's too wet.
Well, if they did, it would make a
Big
pond.
Yeah.
Be a big retention
I
pond.
don't think they could use it for a dumping place because of the creek.
Or even digging because of the creek, there are gonna be a lot
Right.
more restrictions.
How, I know we're looking at this on here, but how far toward those houses does the property go? Like, is it tree line the property? Is that tree line the
Yeah,
line?
the tree line is pretty much the property.
The tree line and where that big swath is cut in the middle of it, you can see the TVA
You
swath
see
that
the
goes through it.
Yeah.
It's,
You
it's,
can actually see on both sides, both sides has a TVA line.
Like, I look at that, I don't know how many acres did you say it was?
7.8.
I think of the trails that's at, where do we go, like out towards Santa? What? Chickasaw. And me and my kids, since they were little bitty, literally, and we go every year. We go geocaching out there. We walk the trails. They do the bikes that go on those little trails.
And Murray County's got some awesome ones.
I love that. Like, that's what I think of, and it's not all, some of it's kind of rough in places
Yeah.
at Chickasaw.
Well, that's what
But
that
it's
is.
always, it is always packed. It is always somebody there walking, riding a bike, having a little, that's, I guess why I was thinking of some like places in the wooded area by the creek to have like a little nice
We
picnic.
have to at some point have a bridge over the creek, and that would be expensive.
We just don't have that here. None of our parks are a place to go and trail anything.
I agree, Missy. And also we are right now at the threshold of where we should be with our population. If we continue to grow, we need more green space. And I don't know where we're going to find more green space, where it's just going to present itself like that, That would give us another 8 acres to add for future
I mean,
population.
it may not be the perfect, but I think it's right beside a park, and why not
Yeah.
see what we can do?
So if you guys want to I know you can't vote on it, but if you were going to make a recommendation to the commission, would you recommend it's pursued, and is there a price tag that you have in mind? And
You said it was 60?
she wants to list it at 68, and like I
It's
said,
not
it's
gonna
exactly
bring
what the
it.
tax
Seven.
record says.
It's not
I
gonna
think
bring
30
that.
would be 30.
It's not gonna bring 30.
30, 35?
There's nothing you can do with this property as far as building.
They actually owed us for mowing because they haven't taken care of it. They paid it, so they're not behind in that.
Well, I have a thought, but I'm gonna keep it. Well,
So
I have a
what?
thought. I have a thought.
I definitely think it's worth some conversations.
I think they're not going to have an easy time selling it.
How long has it
I
been
think we are the best.
How long has it been on the market?
No, she's waiting to put it on the market
Oh.
so we say
What,
that we may be interested in it or not, and then she knows.
I mean-
Did the pursuit of the money prompt the selling of the property when we pursued him for our lawn cutting money?
No. So this attorney that never got whatever his fees were, and then they exchanged property, he just said, I've never even seen the property, I'm just ready to get rid of it. He's in Florida, and he has a friend in Nashville who's a realtor, and they finally just hooked
But
up.
if he was owed X amount of dollars, that I would be curious to know how much he was owed.
That's a lot.
Because-
But I mean, we're not privy to that, but
Well,
Yeah.
it could be. Because if he's just trying to come out even,
the last time it changed hands was $15,000.
$15,000 last time it changed hands. So
Or
I
you
think
can see a record of
and so if it's 60, you said 60?
68.
So I would definitely not do more than half,
Mm-hmm.
30
34.
or 35.
I think 30 is a good, baseline to consider. I know property's expensive right now. I know there's not a whole lot of extra property around, and if people do find it, they're going to want to develop it, and I need them to leave some of it green, So,
this is just a what if I were owed 15,000 and this property is worth 60 something thousand, I might would donate it for the tax write-off of the 68 or the 75 or the 82,000 that it would bring.
Right. That was my first suggestion.
That's
Donate it.
That's kind of not really saying that, just a thought that I had that, especially if you're out of state and you're not making anything on this property as it is,
it's a burden to them, if anything, isn't it?
even a $15,000 or a $30,000 sale versus a $75,000, $85,000 tax write-off
I get what you're
is
saying.
the big difference. And then when somebody comes and drives around and sees the plant, the houses on the backside of that, which are,
There's one that's falling apart.
I mean,
Right next
that
to
need
Jeff
work,
Lane's house.
that need work.
Victoria, can you play it again?
I
I
mean,
I also just think about, I mean, again, there's a lot of people that live over there in that area. That
Yeah.
I think if it was.
but I don't think they're going to sell that property and somebody's going to build a
No.
2,500 square foot house on it.
No.
It's not
I
going to
don't know what
happen.
Smelter could possibly want it for either.
The only thing they could use it for would be a parking lot if they built it up. I don't think there's any other use for them there. Maybe they could, that would be it.
But is there a need for that now that the offices aren't there?
I mean, who knows?
I mean,
Maybe we could get them to sponsor something though, if we were gonna do trails.
But you've got those houses on the backside that run down that other street.
Valley Road.
And you know, and some of those are in, I mean, it's not like you're in the middle of town there.
Yeah.
And I guess another thing for us is we are trying our best to move or to bring awareness to our other parks and get people there. We've got to I think we've got to put a little bit of money.
So that was Miss Woolley's feedback. I'm glad you brought that up because I didn't want to forget to say that because she's not feeling well and that's why she's not here. But she talked to both of us and she said, you know, why would we spend $70,000 when our other parks like Gardenia and stuff need things like playground equipment? But she said if they wanted to donate it or it got down to a really low price, yeah,
To get back whatever they were exchanging it for.
yeah. But otherwise, she was like, she wasn't in agreement to spending that money when we could use that money at other parks.
And
Basically, her point was, we don't have our parks where we want to be. So why
Right.
would we be spending more money?
And it might be something where we could purchase at the owed price and they could still write off the difference in the value.
But I also think Bedford's point, our green space, like I think that has to be addressed. And we can't go make the city limits anymore. They are what they are. And there's more and more houses being built and more green space being taken
When you go
away.
to conferences, they are constantly telling you if there's green space.
We need to try to get
Try
it.
and get it.
Yeah. I mean,
Chuck told us that
Yeah.
at our capital improvement
I mean, is
project.
that, is that something that could maybe keep us from getting grants in the future if we don't have? I don't know. I just thought that might be a point to bring up.
I don't know the NRPA's recommendations or their protocol. I mean, they say with this X amount of people, you should have this many baseball fields, this many walking trails, this many acres of green space. And with 5,000 people, we're kind of really close to where if we had 6,000 people, we're not going to have enough stuff, according to them. Now, I know that there's other places that have less, maybe, and places that have more, but I just don't know when we're going to get another opportunity like
And
this.
I don't know, I just feel like it's perfect for a park because of the creek. Like,
It is.
I think the creek.
Makes it perfect.
I think it's perfect. Like that just,
It's a lot to take care of. I don't
It's
want
not
to sugarcoat it.
$68,000 perfect.
It's donated to
well,
us.
I guess it's not because you have to put work into it.
It
Yeah.
would take $68,000 to get a
Yeah.
path through there.
Yeah.
The Boy Scout path was just a minimal path. You know, I mean, those boys worked hard. I had firefighters out there, Cowboy Up people were out there, and we blazed basically a walking nature trail. And since they've left, it really requires somebody to go out there probably once a week and weed eat the trail and trim stuff back. If not, it grows over really quick. I mean, it requires some kind of constant effort out there.
So in general, this group that I know you can't vote on think it could be very, very valuable to the city. It's just that it would be something that we wouldn't want to pay the asking price and we'd want to negotiate much further down.
I think so.
I would hope so. I mean, but then again, Kate, I mean, I don't want to play both sides, but I would love to have it for free.
Yeah,
I would love to have it at cost, but I don't want to let it get away either.
right.
That's what I was kind of thinking too. Like,
I mean, at first, my first thought process was I can't take care of the stuff I have, much less take care of something new. Yeah.
Right.
But
Just trying to think who would buy it if they actually do put it on the market.
it's a nice little chunk of woods, and if you've ever walked through the walking trail, it hugs the creek, and it's really nice, guys.
Yeah,
It
I
has-
walked it.
It has the potential to be a really, really nice trail. It just really requires some maintenance and upkeep, you know.
I vote yes.
That we'll have at some
I
point.
say
We
yes.
will.
I say let's trying to negotiate.
Okay.
I don't think necessarily there's upkeep there. You can buy for 68 and sit on it for 10 years and get your money back plus some. We buy vehicles for that much money now.
Yes, we do.
They go away in 10 years. I don't think it's a lot of money at 68. I think you gotta look at, you've got a park, you'll have more green space, and then there's connectivity to even some more dilapidated property that could possibly be bought up. You have a whole park in that part of town.
Yeah.
That whole area of Boswell and Olive, we're,
That's a
we're
lot.
gonna see some infill housing. I know it. We have a meeting set up with somebody that already wants to do some of that. So you'd have housing there that would connect to that.
Yeah.
kind of a park.
think
They have
I
access
think
to
it's
the green
perfect.
space. Yeah,
And
I
I just
like
keep going
where-
back
There's a picture right now, but
I just keep going back to the creek and just thinking about what we enjoy and what there is at, other places. I think it could be something that could be very enjoyable for a lot of families and getting people that aren't normally in that part of town into that part of town. And I feel like that's what we're trying to do
it
with
is
all
what
of
we're
our
trying to do,
parks.
Missy. You're absolutely right.
And it might be good.
WXRQ, and we thought that was kind of high, but if you look back now, that was not high.
if you what?
The
Say?
WXRQ building, when we purchased it, we thought that may be a
Oh,
little
yeah.
high,
Mhm.
but if you try to buy that now, it'd be double or triple.
At least.
Yeah, agree. Okay.
And maybe we, can approach, I mean, have they seen this aerial view of the
No, I was
property?
afraid to give it to her. She'll use it when she.
I know. I think
It'll be
it's
used
good.
for
Like
things.
I think keep it to yourself.
She'll use it for her.
It's really pretty, guys. I mean, that little thicket's really pretty.
I like it.
And
But I don't,
It has a lot of
I
potential.
think they're, I mean, without having seen it, they're thinking they have 7 point whatever acres of prime real estate.
They have to know a little bit about it. They have
So
to.
she knows that the TVA lines go through it. She knows that the railroad's there. She knows it's really thick. But she also knows that the best customer is the park right now.
Does she know it's a floodplain?
She does know that.
Okay,
yeah.
so-
Uh-huh.
And the
she
creek,
said that
and the way
after
the
she-
creek runs through it, I mean,
And she said after she talked to me that she would reach out to Smelter and be her next person that she talked to see if they were.
Maybe we need to reach out to Smelter first and be like, we're interested. Don't go above us. Help us out.
Yeah, good point too.
let them know you're not interested, nobody's interested, it can't be used for nothing, we need to.
Yeah,
do
I mean,
it.
I just think that's.
yeah.
I
Who
mean,
would you talk to, Tom?
Yeah.
but there's a big difference in looking at that and then what somebody's got in their head. Well, there's a TVA line on this side, and there's a little creek in the middle.
Sounds picturesque.
I mean, she's talking about somebody that has a single family home there. I'm like, do you even understand the neighborhood? And there aren't homes that size there that she didn't even understand the community.
Nobody's going to build $1 million home on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that.
Not going to happen.
Okay.
Okay, that's, just wanted your feedback on it.
All right. Dixie U School Board.
60 school, which part of this conversation real quick? I want to know what, I don't want to say this the wrong way. What all should be expected out of Parks and Rec and baseball as the two? I mean, I know I allow them to use the space in lieu of paying money. They take care of what's inside the field.
Scoreboard's considered inside the field.
What are they at? Are they asking for something?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, they ask for a lot of things. Okay, they ask for a lot of stuff, and I don't mind. I mean, there was an altercation last night. I mean, there's a lot of things with Dixie Youth that I just don't know enough about. Does Dixie Youth groups in the past, like the batting cages that were there?
We took care of them.
Yeah, well, y'all built them too, did you not? You raised the money and you built those.
Yeah.
So you host tournaments, you sell concessions,
You put it back in the
and you put it
field.
back into the field.
Bulbs for the scoreboard, we provided and changed out.
That's what I'm asking, 'cause I know y'all been involved with this longer than
I
me.
mean, that's just part of the field.
Well, the president of Dixie Youth this year has asked some of the baseball coaches to buy scoreboards, new scoreboards, and those business owners or sponsors, field team sponsors, called me right after the opening ceremony today and said, Bepper, what's going on? I mean, I don't mind donating some money towards the cause, but I can't give y'all $10,000 for two new scoreboards, That's maybe,
What's wrong with the scoreboards over there now?
right now they're not working at all, okay?
It's not like a small problem, it's a big problem.
Well, I think Britt and I went out there the other day in the rain because we've had very little time to do anything that wasn't in the rain, and we found the problem, okay? The problem is the coax cable that runs from the
concession stand, Fred,
The control box that sits up in the press box
Uh-huh.
runs along the fence. It's severed, okay?
Well, then you just put it back together.
So that's why the one on the big field's not working, okay? The one on the little field
Probably
is
got-
kind of working, okay? One light bulb comes on, one, okay? We changed out some light bulbs and it doesn't change, so that don't mean anything. It doesn't mean those light bulbs are bad or good. Something's wrong with this. Because only one light bulb is working.
Fuse?
Don't know. It was raining when we were out there, but as we were searching that line, it's got several cracks and breaks in it, and water has gotten into it, and the little braiding the wire is not totally severed like it is on the other side, but it's just about.
Well, maybe only getting connection occasionally.
So that's what I'm saying. It's got a
Well, one of
supply.
them is old, and it was just like the one that's on the oldest field.
The small one. Mhm.
Yes, I mean, it's an old scoreboard that was just wrapped,
That's
just like
rewrapped.
mine was.
Mhm.
But I'm just trying to think.
And Rodney's group and them, if I'm not mistaken, they paid for the rewrapping. They raised money and they rewrapped.
That wasn't very expensive. The wrapping is not very expensive. I mean, it's like $5.
Can a new coaxial cable be run?
Well, that's what our plan is.
And this time, they need to run it
Underground.
underground, to keep the weed eaters and stuff from
Yeah.
cutting it in two, which is what you're getting.
But the second
Cutting.
one is got to be newer because that field's newer. So
Well, the rewrapped look just the same.
yeah, so I
Okay.
guess I would maybe talk with them about a future plan of replacing one now.
Well, and I had thought about even talking to Murray Regional and some bigger corporate sponsors like
And they-
Pepsi and Coke.
And they will, like our football field, one.
Parts Store says, So I'm not opposed to talking to a corporate sponsor and trying to get some sponsorship on that. My question just was, I get the call all the time, about something related to baseball all of a sudden, and what is, not every taxpayer has a baseball player, so, my question is, what is our obligation to the inside of the field portions of this organization?
I do think they are city parks. I do feel like there is some obligation there. I don't feel like it is, because you can play a ball game without a scoreboard.
You can.
And it's late April
And-
when they're telling us they're broken now.
Well, they
Yeah.
told me on opening ceremonies day. Well, and I agree with that, Missy. I know it's a city park, and I understand that, that it is a city park. But then if that's the case, do you not charge them to play on it then?
Maybe, but I don't think it would come out in the red on that, or the black, or whatever you're supposed to come out in. The black.
Black, you want
Yeah,
to-
because I don't think you can charge them enough for what they do.
No. It's $250 a day. It's $1,000. $250 a day per field. That's $500 a day. They use it 4 days a week. So it'd be $2,000 a week is what it would cost them. That's how come
And they would not probably be able to have enough.
they wouldn't.
Yeah,
They wouldn't.
so-
We've already had this conversation.
Yeah.
That's why I'm
And
expecting
even
more of
getting-
y'all.
And getting that amount of money, then you have to. There's a lot of stuff that goes. I mean, just because I do a field every day,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a lot. And then
I think we have to put it on our radar. We want to get those fields better. We want to have the science, it working.
Yes.
I think we're going to grow, that we'll be embarrassed in the future
Yes.
if we can't.
I think there
have
needs to be
these
a
fields.
plan.
Yeah.
The plan is not
And I don't-
tomorrow.
And then, is that in our CIP that we're presenting to the commission?
Yes, it is about pavement and stuff. That was my next thing. See, right now I need more crush and run out there. The crush and run I bought last year's gone, and I have a million great big craters out there. And so as soon as I get the money that they're going to give me for the $10 per kid, I'll take that money and I'll reinvest it right back into the park.
I mean, I think that you can start out with is that it's in our future plan. We're going to work on getting them where they work right now, and the city will.
We have to get a bid first. I mean, is it?
Well, I mean, the coaxial thing should not be.
Yeah, I don't think. I
No,
think.
that's
I
not
think
a
we
big-
might can fix that
Yeah, I
ourselves.
think we can. That's what I was going to say. Say we're going to
I
fix
think I
them
can
and
get
get
the
them back
floorboards.
I
running.
think we want to eventually, going long term, as we grow, because we are going to grow, we want to be proud.
And they do. I
We
mean,
wanna be proud of
again,
the
that
kids.
one is old because it's the same. It's probably as old as mine is, and mine is 30, going on 30 something years old.
But what we did have prior, the scoreboards were placed there by Pepsi.
Yes, mine was too. Mine was
And
a Pepsi.
and like even at the other field, Sundrop. Like if I had bulbs out, I just called them, they come
Yeah.
and fix it.
And they stopped
did
that.
that for years.
And they don't do that anymore.
And they don't. And since they don't do it anymore, like we had to run a new coaxial cable to the one at the other field. And they wanted to run it on top of the ground, and I'm like, no, because the first time you weed eat, you chop that sucker into pieces.
And they do need to be newer. I mean, again, but I think this needs to be a plan. We're going to work on this field
If we can do a coaxial cable right now
And
until
get
we
it
can raise
working.
money for one.
and then get some bids.
And that was my suggestion to them is, that, well, why are we asking everybody to buy a scoreboard? If we're going to do this as a community, then why don't we have a tournament?
Yeah.
Why don't we have some fundraisers? Why don't we do some other stuff to
Absolutely.
raise the money?
And the one at the baseball field, at the high school baseball field, they got 2 years ago, maybe right before COVID. Can't remember. I mean, it was like
A
$10,000.
new scoreboard.
The scoreboard.
The
right,
scoreboard. I'm pretty positive it was like, and it's a big nice one that does balls and strikes, and maybe you don't need that fancy, but I
The ones
mean,
like what we have now are $5,800 a piece for new ones. And so,
and they do, again, that one is super, super, super old. They do need to be replaced. I think it has to be a joint effort.
I agree. And that's what
And I
I'm
think
saying.
one year, and then 3, 4, 5 years down the road, because I know that other one is nowhere near as old as the first one, just because the field is a lot newer.
Right.
And y'all know about Dixie Youth as well. So Dixie Youth charter and their bylaws and their stuff, that they dictate stuff that you're supposed to do as well out there.
Yes.
And all we're really doing, for the most part, is providing them a location in which to play. You know, y'all's rules and regulations, our code of ethics is all we ask for, is that you're nice to each other while you're out there, please. And that's not really happening right now either.
But you shouldn't wait till opening ceremony day to turn the
No.
scoreboard on to see
They
if it's
shouldn't.
going to work after all winter.
I found out about it last week. When
I mean-
told Bedford about it, he knew nothing about it, and opening ceremonies was
That-
Monday.
Yeah.
I think we go forward getting them to work, and then we will get together and make a plan for the future. And I mean,
That needs to be a partnership. It doesn't
think
need
it's
to
a
be the
partnership.
city just saying,
Yeah.
here's you 2 new scoreboards, because that's what
and you
they're
don't
asking.
need one, right? You need one, then a few years down the road, get another. And I think you could. I mean, just like they do those sponge ball tournaments for all sorts of things. They can raise their half and maybe say, we're going to go half. You give me half, we'll pay for half.
I can work with that. I mean, I feel
I
much
just
better
say
bringing that to the
just-
commission and
and
saying,
you
hey,
can-
look.
And you
they
can
want
say,
these
that's
scoreboards.
what our board has.
And if they want to do something out there, I mean, I don't mind going and helping.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind volunteering some time, and I'm sure there's other Parks Board members that would say, hey, if you're going to do a sponge ball tournament this weekend to help raise money for a scoreboard,
Yep.
I'll come help you. I'll do whatever you need me to do.
Because that's what the baseball team did for those couple years. The boys raised some money. He got some sponsorships. He put kind of like a GoFundMe, but one of those other things out there, and they raised the funds to get a $10,000 scoreboard.
Last year's administration was dead set against me renting it out on off days, you know, and the people I had lined up to rent it for every weekend during the summer just was like, it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't, everything I do, you know, somebody's complaining about it,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
don't worry about it, because
Yeah.
you just got to deal with me. But he just would rather not come back, so he's going somewhere else to use his tournaments. He's not coming here anymore. But I got different people in charge this year, you know, who are definitely open to the opportunity of hosting some tournaments on the weekends with somebody different. I just got to find somebody now.
I think that's good. It's a good location to have when there's both those fields right there, and a lot of places don't have
It needs better
those.
parking. It needs some parking or some. It needs just
Pavement, and
yeah. It needs some work. You know.
it could be something that looks really good driving down 43.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all I got, really, guys.
All right.
All right.
We out.
If somebody wants to make a motion to adjourn,
We can't make.
We don't.
Make motions, we just, we
we can't do that, can we?
It's all leave.
We have to leave.
Are we out?
You're out.
We're out.